Ew, what is good? My anime people, what is good, yo? Guys, holy crap. Let's talk about this ridiculous episode of destruction and weird enough regeneration. To be fair, I was not honestly expecting to see our main person get destroyed the way that he did this week. I thought he would at least be in a position where, he kind of does something impressive and maybe gets away at the end of the day, but yeah, no, that was not the case. Man really got destroyed just to get even the simplest of power up, which still wasn't even enough to really snuff out the competition, unfortunately. Um, I feel like this is a pretty good showcase of just how ridiculously like touchable some people are compared to what we've seen our main character do. Like the overall difference in power and the overall difference in just how much these other characters have to put up with before they, you know, inevitably destroy their competition just doesn't even seem fair, right? Like it really does not seem fair for um, our main character to be fighting some of the people he's been fighting, including without Claire. Now that we have a way better look at what he would do without her, um, you also got to remember that she's never actually gotten them to a point killed and capable of metamorphosis. So I honestly was interested in how this was going to play out, seeing how not only do we get another look at a character who is fused with ours and gives us a better look at just how much more work he would have to do if Claire wasn't around, if Claire wasn't the driving force of, you know, the person pushing forward and actually making most of this stuff possible at the end of the day. Because, like we see, it might not end up too well for our character as soon as he gets in a position where he needs to not only fight for himself, but actually be capable of, you know, calling some smart moves and making the enemy pay for whatever moves they do and be able to punish them for those moves that were done. But that doesn't seem like the case, right? Like it seems like this was going to be very, very one-sided. And then after it was going to be so one-sided, we then just got to see how ridiculously easy it felt for all of this to kind of just pop off in the grand scheme of them losing instantly, right? Like there was actually no fight, no actual like struggle at the beginning, and then as soon as they did start to struggle a little bit and fight back, they get interrupted by one of their actual goals, which is the goal of our main character to destroy this woman. But she stops both of them dead in their tracks while they're mid, like, one person is filled with anger and rage and destruction. So that means to me he has killer intent, right? Like he has all the feeling in the world to want to actually destroy and kill this person that's in front of him. And then we go and look at the flip side of this, and he really can't, right? Like, he can't in the grand scheme of doing it alone. Yeah, excuse me. And he can't in the grand scheme of maybe even beating them with just how much power they actually have in general built up together, right? So these are the types of things that they're making quite obvious very soon in this battle, which was the shocking part for me, was just how quickly they went and just was like, yeah, no, these people are garbage. These people are actually trash compared to this crazy kid that we're looking at. And like the girl who we're hunting down says, he is going to play supposedly a important role, so he can't be showing his power. So there's that, and the grand scheme of just what is so important about this kid that, his ability pretty much is like all these hands we saw coming off of him. But at the end of the day, when he actually goes full out, he gets what, like four hands, one from two from each of his parents. But when we see him, maybe it's just an animation choice or just a way that they kind of tell us that there's someone else always reaching out behind him or something. Um, there's like a million hands behind him, right? And we don't really get an explanation why there's so many of them, besides that he can summon up his mom and dad supposedly. So I don't know how twisted of a story we're gonna get to find out why the heck his ability, like turning into a giant teddy bear or turning into a woman with, you know, animal-like limbs, is, their choices, but for some reason his choice is to turn into something. He doesn't even turn into it, he just kind of conjures up his family members and they start doing all the work for him. So, yeah, I'm not really sure how you could get to that point, but if I was a guessing man, I'm pretty sure it's going to be somewhat explained, hopefully, right? But I'm guessing he had some type of relationship with them where maybe they weren't paying attention to him anymore, or maybe they were going to get a divorce and they were fighting over him. Some type of struggle between the two parents and him, and maybe having, not control, but having the actual way of being his parent, like his guardian. We really just don't know why it's like that, and what possible thing could his ability or this look that he have or this strength that he has be the reason why he's so important to these other members. Which, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that look intimidating, like the guy we saw with the blades, but none of them intimidate me as much as the guy who was not scared of this kid reaching out for him with his ability because he was trying to give him an order not to get distracted and whatnot. But just his look on his face, just the way he kind of carried on regardless of being threatened by someone who we can honestly say is ridiculously strong enough to hold his own against, even a rare, as he calls it. Like, he's like, I'm rare, and you seem to be rare too. So he can hold his own against a rare opponent. So there's that. And to think that everything was just kind of going his way, and then next thing you know, this metamorphosis happens where he crushes the body of our main characters and kind of fuses them together in a way to kind of even help them understand each other. I thought that was pretty cool because Claire hasn't had this type of uh, like immersion, right? Like, she's never been that close to our character in the grand scheme of seeing his whole entire past, future, or not his past, future, but seeing his whole entire past, seeing everybody that he kind of cares about, kind of hates, whatever the case may be. We got to actually see why Claire's sister may have a thing for our main character. It looked like they were dating at one point by the way they were holding hands, by the way they were treating each other. You couldn't tell me that there wasn't something very personal in between them. But the weird part of it is, who's truly the evil person here when it comes down to, did Claire know about this relationship that these two shared? And even if she did, is this part of Claire's goal to make her sister angry, or to make her sister, hate her even more because of taking her parents? This is a good way to strike back at her. Let me hang out with the one person you truly did care about back before supposedly you turned into this monster. I don't know if that's the case, but that's what it kind of feels like, knowing that they're sisters And I'm guessing it would be kind of hard for someone who you really, really care about to just be quiet about someone you might actually have feelings for, right? Like, I know if I like somebody and I want others to know about it, they're gonna know about it. And once they learn about it, either they're going to, uh, do their research and find out about them their own way, or they're going to already know some things about them. Maybe if they're close, if they didn't live that far away, or whatever the case may be. All I'm saying is there's so much that was coming to the conclusion of this story when it came down to why are they hunting down the older sister? What does she actually really do? And what can they actually do to even try to defeat her, So now we're getting more into that stuff, and it feels like we're going to get an answer to more of the questions because even she feels like she has a role to play. So this whole role and what their abilities are needed for before they're quote unquote dead or whatever is interesting to me. Another amazing plot point of how to keep a story from just being about the fighting, just being about characters wanting revenge on other characters. We have a whole entire goal set for this opposition team that we could care less about when it comes down to the grand scheme of them beating or taking the lives of other people. Now we know they actually think they have a real reason and a real meaning behind it. So that's more or less what I'm looking forward to. What do they think they're doing that's, good for the world and whatever? And what are they actually doing and what are they actually planning on getting out of all this at the end of the day? So all that being said, everybody, I hope you have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I'll definitely talk to you in the next one. So with that being said, peace.